Welcome to this space. If your soul has been restless, hungry for something deeper, you're not alone. This is a channel for those who've seen too much too young, for those who've always felt life had a hidden layer beneath the surface, something sacred, but hard to name. If you're just joining us, check the description box for our spiritual books, beads, and grounding tools. These are not just objects, they're companions. If you've been praying for alignment, clarity, or just strength to stay consistent, these might be what your spirit has been waiting for. And if you feel this message speaks to you today, and you want more than just content, consider joining as a member. You'll receive access to members-only meditations, discipline resets, and spiritual guides designed to help you stay centered when the world pulls you away from yourself. It's more than support, it's nourishment for the path ahead. Now, let's talk about something most people never say out loud, which are 11 deep signs you were chosen from birth for a higher purpose, but didn't know it. Not everyone was meant to live a loud life. Some people were born different, quietly different. They move through the world feeling slightly out of sync, as if they're carrying a secret they don't fully understand. They've never fit in completely, no matter how hard they've tried. And that isn't a mistake. It may be one of the earliest signs that you were selected for something higher long before you had words for it. Sign 1. You've always felt out of place, even when you're surrounded by people. You can be in a room full of people and still feel miles away. Not because you're antisocial, not because you're broken, but because a part of you sees through things most people settle for. You've tried to blend in. You've learned to laugh at the right moments, nod when expected, play along when needed. But deep inside, there's always been a quiet ache, the feeling that the world others are content with just isn't enough for you. This isn't pride. It's a kind of inner homesickness, as if your soul remembers something purer, and it's been searching for it ever since. Being spiritually set apart doesn't always feel like a blessing. At first, it just feels lonely. But that loneliness may be the first clue that your soul was never meant to follow the crowd. Sign 2. You were burdened with awareness too early. Some people are allowed to be children, to live lightly, to dream without interruption. But maybe your story didn't look like that. Maybe you were exposed to pain before you knew how to process it. Maybe you had to carry the weight of others when you were still trying to understand your own. You may have felt like life didn't give you time to prepare, like your eyes were open before your heart was ready. And yet, somehow, you endured. That early exposure to spiritual tension, to grief, responsibility, or betrayal wasn't meant to harden you. It was the beginning of your deeper sight, the quiet sharpening of a spirit being prepared to carry what others can't even name. You may have noticed that things rarely stay in your life for long. People leave, opportunities vanish, plans fall apart just when they seem within reach. And each time it leaves a mark. Not just because it hurts, but because you feel everything more deeply than most. But here's the truth most won't say. Some souls are stripped early, not as punishment, but to prevent attachment to what would have dimmed their light. If you've known deep loss without cause, if life has repeatedly pulled things away just when your heart opened, it may be because your growth couldn't afford comfort too soon. You were being carved out, not to leave you hollow, but to make room for something sacred later on. Pain has a strange way of shaping the chosen. It keeps the heart tender and the ego small. And both are needed when you're meant to carry something higher. Sign 4. You carry a deep sense of inner knowing, but you can't explain why. Before you had words for it, you sensed things. You didn't always have proof, but you knew who to trust, where not to go, what not to say, even when no one warned you. It's like your spirit had memory far older than your body. At times, it may have made you question your sanity, feeling things no one else around you could feel. sensing danger where others saw nothing. But this isn't imagination, it's intuition, sharpened by something ancient in you. Not all wisdom comes from books. Some wisdom is simply remembered, and while others need signs and confirmations, you often just know, without reason, without explanation. And you've learned, often the hard way, that ignoring it costs more than listening ever does. This kind of knowing is quiet, but relentless, and it may be one of the clearest signs that you were never meant to walk blindly in this world. Sign 5. You've been repeatedly misunderstood, even by the ones you love most. You speak, but they don't hear you. You explain, but they twist it. You open your heart, but somehow, they only see what confirms their own fears. This isn't just bad communication, it's spiritual isolation. When you're marked for something higher, the people closest to you will often misread your spirit, not because they don't care, but because they haven't been called to understand what you carry. And that hurts the most, because it's not strangers wounding you, it's family, friends, people you thought were your safe place. You've likely questioned yourself 1,000 times. Am I the problem? Maybe I am too much. Maybe I expect too much. But what if you weren't made to be fully seen by everyone? What if your spirit was tuned to a different frequency, one that only a few will ever hear clearly? The pain of being misunderstood has a purpose. It teaches you how to be rooted in truth, not approval. It teaches you how to walk alone without becoming bitter. And when someone does finally see you, truly see you, you'll recognize it instantly. Because it'll feel like coming home to a voice you forgot you needed. Sign 6. You battle yourself more than anyone else ever could. No one is harder on you than you are. Not because you lack confidence, but because something in you refuses to settle for being half awake. You hold yourself to standards others never see. You wrestle with thoughts late at night no one knows you carry. You relive conversations. You question your motives. You dig and dig and dig because you can't stand living unconsciously. It's exhausting, and some days you wish you could just turn it off. But you can't, because your soul won't let you lie to yourself. This isn't just overthinking. It's a kind of sacred accountability. A deep inner pull that won't let you hide behind ego or comfort. You were born with a mirror inside you, and every time you avoid it, life finds a way to hold it back up. This quiet war you fight, the war between who you are and who you're meant to become, it's one of the clearest signs that your path isn't random. It's refined, and you're being prepared, not punished. Sign 7. You sometimes say or do things that feel beyond you. It happens in moments you don't expect. You speak, and the words feel like they came from somewhere deeper than your own mind. You offer comfort you didn't know you had. You write something, say something, sense something, and it moves someone's soul. And afterward, you're left wondering, where did that come from? There's a sacred strangeness to it, as if you were momentarily borrowed by something wiser than you. And it leaves you both humbled and shaken. Because how do you explain that to anyone? How do you tell people you feel like life is happening through you, not just to you? People with higher callings often carry this quiet mystery. They're used, again and again, as vessels, but still have to wrestle with their own flaws once the moment has passed. Sometimes, you shock yourself with the light that comes out of you. Other times, you're broken by the darkness you still haven't healed. And this tension between the divine and the deeply human, it doesn't mean you're disqualified. It means you're real. The calling didn't choose you because you were perfect. It chose you because your soul could hold the weight, even with the cracks, Sign 8. You often feel confused about yourself, even though you know you're meant for something greater. It's the strangest contradiction, but another part of you still falls short, still makes decisions you regret, still doubts, still fails, still wonders if you're fooling yourself. And some nights, it's unbearable. The pressure of being called to more while still feeling so less. But hear this with your heart. Confusion is not the absence of purpose. It's often the evidence of one. Because people on higher paths are rarely given clarity all at once. Why? Because clarity would make them too confident. And confidence without surrender becomes pride. So instead, they are given glimpses, a sense, a knowing that flickers, disappears, and returns again. Stronger, quieter, deeper. The gift that helps you through this? Discernment. Not loud, not flashy, but calm. The ability to sense not just what looks right, but what feels true. And you'll notice, your discernment sharpens when your spirit slows down. When you're not rushing, not proving, not forcing. That's when the answers come. That's when the path clears. Sign 9. You long for something this world can't touch. There's a quiet ache that follows you. Not pain exactly, but emptiness. Even in your happiest moments, laughter, connection, love, it lingers. It's not because you're ungrateful. It's not because something is missing. It's because your soul remembers something this world can't offer. You were built for more than temporary highs, more than recognition, more than comfort. You were made for the eternal. And nothing in this life can fully satisfy a soul wired for the infinite. That ache isn't a curse, it's a compass, a soft, holy reminder that no matter how good this life gets, your true home is still ahead of you. Sign 10. You carry a safe space for the wounded without trying. You don't go around offering advice. You're not loud about what you know, and yet, people find you. The broken, the hurting, the silent sufferers. They show up, often uninvited, and leave pieces of their pain in your hands. You've probably asked yourself, why do they always come to me? Why do strangers open their hearts like I'm some kind of shelter? It's not what you say, it's how you see. You see through masks. You hear what people don't say. You carry pain without making it about you. That's not just empathy, that's spiritual design. And yes, it's heavy. Some days it drains you, but don't mistake that for weakness. It's a sacred burden. You've become what you once needed, a quiet place for others to fall apart and not be judged for it. Sign 11. You didn't just hear this message. Your soul recognized it. Somewhere in the middle of all these words, you felt something. Not new information, but something older. Something remembered. You didn't just resonate, you felt exposed. As if someone had read the private pages of your soul out loud. The parts of you even you didn't know how to explain. You've doubted. You've questioned whether you've disqualified yourself by now. You've looked at your mistakes and asked, maybe I missed it, maybe I'm not the one. But listen carefully. You were chosen before the confusion, before the losses, before life chipped away at your confidence. Nothing that has happened has voided your calling, nothing. And maybe you didn't find this video, maybe it found you. Because your spirit was ready to be reminded that you were never forgotten. Not by the path, not by God, not by the truth of who you are becoming. And if you're still listening, that means you're still becoming. If this message found you today, it wasn't by accident. You were meant to hear it. If it stirred something sacred inside you, consider subscribing. And if you're ready to go deeper, become a member. You'll gain access to meditations, resets, and spiritual tools to stay grounded on your path. You don't have to walk this journey alone. Not anymore.